Hello, I'm Sam Ashurst. I'm here with Gareth Evans, director of The Raid, and a segment in VHS 2. And we're actually going to watch that segment in VHS 2 right now and chat about the making of it. So if you want to watch along, press play on your VHS now. Here we go. So I like all these effects. Did you do this stuff, or was
no,
that added in after?
we have we have this online guy in Indonesia. His name's Andy. He's worked with me since Maranta worked with me on The Raid, and then my co-director Timo Chayanto, he's worked with him on other films too, and so he's kind of become our go-to guy whenever we want to do any kind of VFX.
Right. Okay.
And so he's got a good eye for things, and thankfully on this one he had a good budget for it too.
Nice.
As well. So
Nice.
yeah, it was nice to work with him.
And in these early stages, kind of setting up the found footage element, how was that working within those confines?
I mean, our goal was to always kind of find a way that we can kind of organically use those cameras. We knew we wanted to do a lot of different camera setups so that we could be a little bit more flexible with our edit. We are kind of cheating to a certain degree in terms of the usual. It's not. I wouldn't really call it found footage from our segment. Right. More just POV horror. Right. Because obviously it's edited and it's multiple camera sources.
Absolutely.
And But the idea was to kind of to introduce different methods of capturing this footage, with the button cams on the people, then also with production cameras, so that we could kind of have different feels, different looks, different perspectives, different angles, but at the same time, later on when everything goes crazy, have a reason for the camera to still be rolling, because it's just a camera on a person's t-shirt or a shirt, and that's feeding a signal into somewhere else's recording. So it's not like they're running through all this chaos and still finding time to zoom in and get a really good shot or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just this camera thing.
Yeah.
But while that might have given us this sort of benefit of being it makes sense in a logical way that it kind of would still roll, the downside is that it limits us then as filmmakers, because by the end we're restricted to just this. There's no zoom on there. There's no movement on it. There are certain beats in there that me and Timo were both dying to be more cinematic with. We wanted that close up. We wanted that detail of a performance. But we were locked in. It's no. Once we set that stall out, that's the rules. We have to stick to them. Right. So we could only use those fixed camera lenses and on that.
Right. Well, it looks great. And these guys, where did you find them?
I mean, the cast for the journalists, you have Oka Antara and Hana Al Rashid, and then Fahri Alba. They're kind of really well known in Indonesia. They're all kind of well known actors. Right. That we just played on them to call in favors to be able to do this for us, because obviously the budget for the film was really low budget for the short, and it was basically okay, look, we just want to experiment and try this out. We want to work with you, you want to work with us, so let's just do this project together. Right. And then the sort of the key to this obviously was finding Epi Kusnandar, who plays the father of the commune. He'd worked with Timo because Timo before this did a short film for the ABCs of Death. He did the L for Libido short.
Right.
The really pleasant one. And he played the least savory character in that episode as well. Yeah. And Epi was someone that I'd kind of looked at for a film for a character in The Raid before, but for whatever reason we didn't end up casting him. And so after seeing him in Libido and then casting him in this, he's kind of become the great character actor of Indonesia now. So Timo just cast him again in Killers, his next feature film, which is gonna be great. It's coming out next year. Excellent. And then I just cast him in Brandel in The Raid 2. He's basically, and he plays a really cool character in ours as well. So he's kind of become that kind of Steve Buscemi type character, that sort of that good character. You see his face a lot, but he's always playing some kind of sleazeball or scumbucket.
He's amazing in this.
He's really good. He has such a command and a presence.
Yeah, terrifying.
But the great thing with him is he's really good at improvising a lot as well. Right. So there'd be certain moments where me and Timo might have been stuck for some kind of inspiration, and then he'd just pull out he just randomly started singing in one of the takes, and we were oh, let's use that. And he was humming along this tune he just made up off the spot, and it became a major part of the rest of the film.
Oh, excellent! And so, how did you get involved with this project?
Roxanne, one of the producers on there, she like reached out to me to kind of like do something with VHS2, and like Timo had been contacted as well, but separately. And so me and Timo, like, we've known each other for like 6 years now.
Right.
We watch the same films, we'll hang out together and watch the same movies, and then we'll also kind of like spitball ideas with each other about, like, you know, each other's projects. So he'll come to me when he was writing Killers and I was writing Brandel at the time, and we'd both kind of like meet up in a cafe and be like, okay, here's what's wrong with my script, help me fix it. And then he'd be like, this is what's wrong with my script, help me fix it. So we kind of just like, we bounce ideas off each other all the time, but we never collaborated on anything at all. And so then we were like, I said to him, look, I've been asked to do this short film for VHS2. I mean, I really want to do it, but I'm a bit nervous. I'm an action guy, I'm not a horror guy. Like, you know, you're the horror guy. Like, you know, if I'm going to do it, I want to bring you on board. I want to do it with you. And he was like, well, I got contacted with it as well. And he felt the same way. Like, he wanted to do it if we could collaborate. So we approached them and said, look, we both want to do it, but we want to do it together. We want to co-direct something. And so they were cool with that. And so we just embarked on this. Like, and I gotta give credit to Timo, because like the story concept was from him.
Right.
Like, Timo was like obsessed with the idea of like the Jonestown cult massacre and stuff like that. And he came over one night. Like, I knew a little about it, but not much. And he came over and sort of like played me the audio recording of the final prayer, the final speech when he's telling everyone to go and, like, you know, drink the Kool-Aid and stuff like that. And I found it the most creepy thing I've ever heard, because like you can hear like kids in the background crying, and you know what they're about to go through, and it was horrible, it was horrifying. And so he played that to me, and then he was like, oh, this is kind of what I want to do. I want to do this thing where it's like, this is the day that a news crew goes into this place, and this is what we unveil. And I was like I agreed with him. I was like, this is a great idea, it's a great concept. I said, we're dealing with a short film subject, well, let's try to find a way to do that, but without kind of having the pain of something like that, like not to kind of go too like disturbing and dark in terms of like, you know, it hurting the audience, but to find a way that we could kind of like switch it around a little bit and then make it a roller coaster ride at the same time. So we take away some of that like real life horror of it, and then put something else in its place, something a bit more theatrical, something a bit more like, you know, a carnival atmosphere to it. So then we started thinking about like the idea of, okay, well, it's not just like a normal, you know, cult and stuff with misguided beliefs, but okay, what if their beliefs were real? What if it was the day of the apocalypse? What if this idea that bringing in this woman who is pregnant as a vessel succeeds? And then it allowed us to kind of go to that carnival of grotesqueries and shit like that, and to really kind of like hammer it a bit home and have fun with it at the same time as disturbing people. Then
absolutely.
I guess.
Now, you say you're not a horror guy, but you are a fan of horror movies.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love watching horror films.
Yeah. What were some of your favourites? I know we talked on Twitter about House of Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, I mean, I love that film. There's one shot in there which I just like. Still to this day, I've always loved, and that was this really big long crane shot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I love that shot so much.
Yeah.
But I've always been a fan of like different types of horror films. Like, I tend to find like the more like thriller suspense horror is more effective to me. Like, you know, I like being creeped out more than I do like seeing something visceral.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I got a place in my heart for bad taste. I got a place in my heart for brain dead and like for the splatter horror, you know.
Absolutely.
So like, I've always been kind of like open to whatever I want to watch, is wherever it's good. The one experience of watching a horror film, I remember when I first saw The Shining. I didn't see it for a long time. I was like maybe like 18, 19. I sat down watching The Shining, and I was thinking like, this is fucking amazing. I can't believe I haven't seen this before. And then all of a sudden, like, it gets to like the scene in the maze at the end with the snow. I'm like, oh, I've seen this before. I know I've seen this. And I started realizing, I think I know the ending to this. What the fuck? Why do I know this? Like, I know he freezes. And then all of a sudden it clicked. And I realized that I'd seen the Simpsons parody. and then all of the fear of that whole film that had built up all up to the end just got completely ruined by seeing Homer Simpson like frozen to death. So yeah.
Amazing. And this is a really creepy scene. What was this like to film?
Oh, actually, this scene, this is obviously the bit with father and then the sound guy. Actually, like, this is one of the benefits of me and Timo working together. Like, Timo went ahead and shot that while I went off to shoot like the guy running out the building and getting to the car later on.
Cool. Yeah,
so like it was a cool thing, because like in Indonesia we don't tend to have like second unit at all.
Right.
It's very difficult to be able to rely on a second unit to get you what you want. Whereas for me and Timo, because we both kind of came to from the same mindset, we both feel like we love the same movies. We had that confidence to be able to say like, okay, well, you go and shoot these 2 set pieces here, and then I'll go off and shoot these 2 set pieces here.
Nice.
And then know that we'd both, be happy and not pissed off with each other's footage. So he handled the whole neck slashing stuff while I was doing.
So how did you feel when you watched that for the first time? Like, were you creeped out by it?
Yeah, I mean, like it was effective as hell. It was really good. And the thing that I loved about it was like, again, going back to that thing about father, was the fact that like, all this blood was spraying into his eyes, into his face, and it's horrible when it goes into your eyes. It's a horrible thing, and into his mouth as well. It doesn't taste great. And as he gets up, he just started humming this tune. I don't think it was direction from me or Timo or anyone. He just started humming this tune, and it was perfect. And like sometimes you get little things which kind of help you along the way, like little things which are accidental but just work great in the scene. Because of the blood spray, it kind of streaked across the lens. And Epi, the guy who plays father, he's not like a big guy. He's quite small and short and skinny. But then when he stands up above the body of it, because of the blood streaks, it stretches his body out and it morphs it. And then all of a sudden he looks like he's fucking built. He looks really big and muscular. And he's all powerful and shit. And then he's humming, and then he moves a little bit and he goes back to the small shape again. And it was just a fluke. It was just pure accident that the blood landed in the right place at the right time.
Amazing.
So yeah.
And were you a fan of the original VHS movie? Had you
seen it?
Like
I saw it. Actually, they contacted us before I had a chance to see it.
Right.
Because they went in. They wanted to do it pretty quick. Like I think they premiered in Sundance, and then literally just after Sundance, they were contacting us about doing it. And then so they arranged us to be able to see it. And then I finally got to see it then, and I really I took to like some of the shots more than others, but I really took to like Amateur Night, probably one of the ones that kind of influenced us in terms of like, okay, we want to try to attain that energy and just keep it going and keep it going and keep it going.
Absolutely, yeah. You can see it. And how did you feel, like what did you think of the other guys' shorts for VHS 2?
Great. I mean, we were all kind of in touch with each other,
right?
Like from the script stages, so we all had a rough idea of what each person was going to do,
right?
Just to make sure there were no like crossover points.
Sure.
Like one of the things that we got told was like, please don't use GoPro too much, because they knew that like obviously Greg and Eduardo were using GoPro for theirs, and then Jason was using GoPro for his in a big way. So they didn't want to have like 3 short films back to back, which were all shot with GoPro, because we were going to use GoPro for a while.
Okay.
And then we settled on. We found this like Sony camera. There's a Sony NEX7, and we started figuring out like rigging ways we could just bolt it to the actor's chest. So, well, mostly the DOP did it, but we bolted it down to his chest. With a Canon lens, so we could just run around and get like some decent quality footage of it.
And this that moment where he finds out, at what stage in the scripting process did you think of that? Because it adds an element of tension.
Yeah, well, actually in the original cut of the film, it was about, because ours is the longest episode of the entire film, and it comes in like 31 minutes, which is not really a short film. The first cut we did was 45 minutes.
Right.
And what happened was we had like a lot more about this relationship, about the group of filmmakers. We wanted to really get to know them, really kind of get the audience to care a little bit about them, to kind of like figure out who's who and what's what before the hell breaks loose.
Sure.
And I mean, for us it was interesting because some people don't pick up on it. Some people are always like, because me and Timo, every now and then we can't help it. We'll read little comments, like when people post about the film, and like some people are saying like, oh well, how such a fluke that that she's pregnant. How come they just find out that they're lucky that she's pregnant and comes into the compound?
Right.
But we did this thing at the beginning when they're in the cafe, where father looks down at her stomach, and that was like the signal thing. Like people might think that he's looking at the button cam, they might think that he's looking at them holding hands, but what we were always thinking is, okay, he's looking at her stomach, he knows that she's pregnant. When she comes in there, the lady comes up and says like, oh, your baby will be so beautiful, but she isn't showing. It's only like 8 weeks or something, or 5-6 weeks or something rather. So we wanted to have that thing where like everyone in the compound has some kind of weird supernatural knowledge that she's ready to be the vessel.
Right.
And we kind of play on that here as well, with Fakhri's character when he goes into the medical room. The idea is that like, this isn't the first time they've tried it. There have been other attempts that have failed, and so this was my way of like sort of like saying to Timo, yeah, I can do horror too. So this is the one scene that I came up with that would fuck him up. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I thought if I can really shock him a little bit, then I've earned my position on this as a director then.
And the production design on that moment is really cool. Like, who did that? And
we had an art guy, Ito, and he was he was like he worked really hard for very little money. Like a lot. It was calling in so many favors on this project, and we were just really lucky. We had like a solid crew that kind of just backed us up all the way through it. Like we were given like our assistant director hell, because like, you know, towards the end when we get to the end point, initially it was supposed to be just one long run out through the corridor into the car and then just drive away. That was it in the script.
Right.
So she gave us 2 hours to shoot it. I was like, that's plenty enough time.
Right.
And then all of a sudden me and Timo start kind of snowballing ideas. We're like, well, what if we had a classroom full of kids that are reanimated? What if we have a bunch of guys in a room throwing a head at the window? What if we have a couple fucking with blood flying everywhere? And then our poor makeup artist, Sadie, she suddenly has to, like, you know, listen to our demands and then like come up with all this stuff suddenly off the top of her head.
Wow.
Yeah. So this shot actually this was me operating the camera.
Oh wow.
So
cool.
now I'm obviously like a hell of a lot heavier and a hell of a lot bigger than the actor who was supposed to be doing the role.
Right.
And so they like, you know, the shirt they got him was this like ridiculous slim fit shirt with the check shirt. So I had to have 2 fucking shirts, one sleeve on one arm, one sleeve on the other here.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh man, this is so scary. You must be really proud of like how the reaction that it's got.
Yeah, I mean, like
people have really singled it out.
This is the interesting thing. Like, I mean, we've read like the critical reaction and stuff like that, but like we've both been so busy, both me and Timo, that we've never had the chance to actually sit down and watch with an audience yet.
Oh wow!
And so this is the thing I'm looking forward to. Yeah, this is fucked up. My mum's not gonna like that scene.
Or your dad, he'll go feed the rabbit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he'll go feed the rabbit. But yeah, like for that one, in particular, it was like, deep down, it was a cheap scare. It's a jump scare, you know. But the idea was to kind of have a jump scare in there. But then when you pull back and then the sheet comes off, that it's jump scare, but then it tells you something about the fucked up shit that's going on in this building, so it has a purpose and has a place in there.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that was kind of like the way of justifying our sort of cheap jump shot.
Oh, it totally works. Oh man, this is so intense. Just look at him.
Yeah, it's quite lithe, right?
Yeah. But so what was like the toughest moment for you to film? Like, what was...
The birth scene was pretty tough.
Right.
That building, we used that building for the raid as well.
Right.
That was a building that I had experience of shooting in there for a month, and I hated it, and I vowed I'd never go back there, because it's like this.
Oh, there's that shot.
Yeah, here you go. This is the blood effect. It was so good. It worked so well. It's all in his eyes.
Yeah.
It's all in his mouth.
He really goes with it.
And he starts humming here as well. It's great.
Oh, amazing. I can't believe that's all improv.
There you go. And then his body stretches out, looks so big and muscular and shit, and then all of a sudden back to skinny guy again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And if you look closely, actually a little spoiler for that, like we shot this all throughout the day, we lost sunlight, so the background, the windows are black, it's nighttime now.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to be daytime.
Oh, amazing. So, sorry, you were saying?
I forgot what I was saying now. What was I saying?
I got so distracted by that. I
Yeah,
what
no,
you were saying as well. We'll move on. What was it like working with the kids on this? Like, was it
the hardest shoot, using for the hardest thing.
That was it. Yeah.
The birth scene.
Yeah, the birth scene. That's
so it was in that location where we did the raid, and like I never wanted to go back there, and then we ended up going there again for like 3 or 4 days of shooting, and it's just horrible. It's so sweaty in there, so like dusty, and there's like bird shit everywhere. It's not a nice place to shoot. Never mind shoot a birth scene there.
Yeah.
And the way we did a lot of like old school theater tricks in order to be able to do the birth scene. So like, you know, we cut a hole in the table, and basically like for one shot I was animating this head. So we built like the prop head, and I was like shifting it around, pushing it through this hole in the stomach. It was just disgusting. You have all this like glycerin and blood falling off the head coming down onto me. And then Timo did the same as well. We all kind of like took our turn to kind of get covered in all this disgusting stuff.
I hope you got good pictures afterwards.
I think we did, I'm pretty sure we got some good snaps there.
Good. But about the kids on the movie. How's it working with kids on horror films like this? Do you have to keep them away from stuff?
Yeah.
We have to talk about this.
Okay, the mass suicide.
This is incredible. What a shot! Like, how did you come up with that? What was that like to shoot? Did you shoot that one?
Yeah, we were both there for this whole scene then. Like, I mean, that was like, it was one of those things where like, we wanted something to be like, it's quite strange to say because I never found that one the shocking scene. A lot of people tend to respond to that shot particularly because they just don't expect it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just I can't even think of what to say about it. We just did it because we just knew it just came into our head of like it would be good to kind of have this moment where everyone just suddenly starts to commit suicide, whether it's through drinking the chocolate milk or you know or you know committing suicide with a gun, and then the idea of having this one guy who tries to run away and get from it but he gets killed, and they treat the journalist exactly as one of them now. So it's like, you know, you're not going to get away from this, you're going to be taken with them as well. And we kind of set it up in a way so that we could have this moment here, like when Fakhri turns up inside the room, the god talks to him in a very respectful way because he's technically the father of the demon spawn. And it's weird that they know that they would know that too, even though they haven't been part of that conversation. They all know who's who in this love triangle and who's responsible for that vessel of the work. Yeah, he's saying like, please be patient, I'll be with you soon, you know? And so it's like, it's really, yeah, it just kind of like offered us an opportunity to kind of like do something a little bit more surreal and to kind of like start to kind of sow little seeds in the audience's minds in about like what's about to happen, where we're about to go with it.
Absolutely. It adds a real sort of surreal quality, a bit of the Shining element there.
Yeah.
So have you seen, like, in terms of fan reaction, that moment has really stood out? Like, I don't know if you use Tumblr or go onto Tumblr, but there were, after the trailer launch, there were GIFs.
Oh yeah?
Loads of GIFs of that moment.
No way.
They shoot themselves in the head. So yeah.
It's quite disturbing.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and you know.
This was my favorite. When me and Timo shot this, we were so excited when we did this.
Oh really?
Because like the women playing the nurses, they were so crazy excitable in that, like laughing like maniacs into the camera. We loved that shot. That was the one we were most happy with, actually.
Oh, it's awesome.
But going back to that thing you said about with the kids earlier. Like we kept them out of the way of stuff. Like we because we're locked in his camera like pretty much for the last 5 minutes of the film, and so we had to find ways to kind of to do creative edits here and there, because you know we knew we couldn't do it all in one take, so had to, and also we had 4 different locations for the building, so like this is one element of the location, then we have to go to another room, and then into another corridor, into another building in another city and all that, and so we had to find ways of editing it so that like without it being a time cut, but make it feel like it's all one flow. And so then once we figured that out, once we figured out how we could do it, like the kids didn't even see the demon, they didn't see the they didn't hear the couple, you know, having their tender moment together or anything like that. They were just, they came in, they drew some pictures, they sang some songs, they had a little bit of makeup put on them to make them look scary, and they growled a little bit, and then they were done, they were out. There was you know, a long day for them, but like okay, fine, like they didn't see anything like untoward or anything. We always kept them hidden from that element.
Because I mean, this kind of thing warp a child. I mean, that's another incredible
this
shot.
This was Timo though. This was totally Timo's idea about the combustion.
Just so cool. That's nasty. So was there someone throwing a bucket of slop?
So to do that, my poor DOP, like he had this rain jacket on, and Timo and then 2 of the art guys have stood right by him with these 2 big buckets of just blood, and literally at that last moment he has time to just turn around and they threw it straight at him, and it just kind of spread all over the place.
Amazing. I mean, yeah, it's just mad and so creepy and so gory and just really cool. Like I say, you must be very proud of it. and so you're watching it with an audience for the first time?
First time I'll see with an audience tonight, yeah. Tonight. I've watched it with crew once or twice, but that's about it really. Like you know, we haven't really had a chance to kind of sit down and watch it with people, so I'm really excited to see how people respond to it tonight.
Oh, it's going to be brilliant.
It's gonna be
like
fun.
That crowd especially.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, have you done Fright Fest before, like as a fan? Or?
Yeah, we did like Fright Fest in Glasgow for the raid, which was really great, great fun. And I mean, I came and like before I started making films, if I came and watched one of the old days they did before, back when it was League of Gentlemen in Sin City and Devil's Rejects. So I was there for the full day for that.
Oh,
and so
sweet.
I kind of got a grasp of how the audience is, so hopefully they'll be into it for this one.
They definitely will. And so this is you're under the table here.
Oh no, this one actually is all CG.
That's
so this
all
is all CG. So like our online guy is really good. So the moment, one of these shots would have been like one of us under the table pushing this like prop head through. Then let me see, the growls, that's me.
Really?
So I had to do the voice of the demon, including the papa thing at the end.
Excellent.
This guy was our
man.
VFX guy. He was like not the guy who did the VFX, but he was like a consultant for us. And he just happened to be built like a brick shithouse. So we were like, oh, you're gonna fucking put this helmet on and you're gonna climb up for us.
It's so cool. Like the way you think it's gonna be small and then it's just absolutely huge. Nice zombie.
So this was the start.
Well.
So this was the start of that thing of like, okay, normally it was going to be just a walk down the corridor to the car.
Right.
Now we started throwing everything at it.
Amazing.
And me and Timo just started bouncing at each other. We were like, dude, let's have them singing, but let's have it singing with this like down pitch, like this weird kind of like effect.
Yeah.
Even down to the guy strumming one last string on the guitar and stuff. So yeah, we started adding all this. Our makeup girl Sadie, she had to do so much work on this because it was like all 20 kids she had to suddenly make up and then and then this as well. We had like sling work to do to pull the guy across.
No way.
Here you go. There's like cuts all the way through, and then this couple. So this couple now, when they're up in like private time together on the bed, they weren't there for that originally. They were there just to stroke each other's face, right? And then suddenly we were springing on him. So our casting guy had to go up to him and just say, Gareth and Timo have an idea that they want to try you for. Are you okay with doing this? And the woman was fucking game. She wanted to do it like so badly. So we were like, great, nice, okay, fine. Guy not so much, but yeah, it was okay.
Talked him round.
Yeah, you talk him round.
Amazing.
Like, it's okay, you get to keep your underwear on and just show a bit of arse, that's it.
Amazing. And so how, like, I presume they gave you a bit of an extra time. You had 2 hours, you said, to shoot this. How much, how long did it actually take?
4 in the end, about 4 or 5 in the end.
Still
like that. So
amazing.
we were over, but it was tight, it was really tight. So this is actually a combination, and so we're jumping from like 4 different locations in that run out. So we make it all feel like it's one flow. And then like as we come up to the door here as well, like we do little things like, okay, cover it with a shirt, now we cut already. Then we cut again.
Oh wow.
And then the CG glass for the window.
Yeah.
Boom. And then we cut here onto the dashboard. So now my DOP's in the car with him holding the camera.
That's awesome.
So we could make it feel like it's all one flow then, and make it feel like, okay, there's a reason why the camera's still on him.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's incredible. I love this. I mean,
and we got lucky because this location had trees in the background, so we just added like, it's a bit of a cheap shot, but we did like glitch, and then it's a new location completely then.
Oh wow! Oh nice. And so here you're thinking, oh, is he going to get away? You know? But of course, there's a final twist in the tail. That's just so cool.
We actually want to extend that shot out. Like I had plans for it where the camera was going to fall down onto the side of the car, and we'd see the car scraping across the floor.
Oh, wow.
We designed it. We figured out how we were going to do it, and then we were going to put the car on like these rails so we could just drag it across. But when the rails came in, they had like supermarket trolley wheels, and I was like, it's not going to hold. It's just not going to hold. Everyone kept saying, oh, have faith, it'll work. Put the camera on it, and it just fucking buckled, and we were like, okay, never mind, scratch that. So this ending, this was completely improvised on set.
No.
So originally we were supposed to have the car get completely crushed, and then like it would crush over half of his body and sort of squash him in.
Right.
And then the demon would just stand there and roar at the end. That was it. But we were running out of time. We had no idea what the fuck we were going to do because we couldn't do that anymore because of the effects weren't going to work. So then I can't remember if it was me or Timo, but like one of us was just like, you could have him say Papa. And it just became this like ridiculous punchline, and we were both kind of like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Let's
brilliant.
Do that.
It's perfect.
A few people kind of talk to us, they say like, oh, would you do it as a feature film? And I was like, if we did it as a feature film, we could never get away with that last line. It would never work. People just get so pissed if that was the punchline for the end.
He really sells it, like his expression.
Oh,
like,
he was destroyed here.
Yeah.
He was so destroyed actually. He could only perform physically. He couldn't perform vocally for this.
Oh, really?
So the laugh we had to do in ADR.
Oh, wow.
Because like he was wrecked, and like the card is right here. So it's right under his diaphragm. He can't get any voice out.
Oh my god.
But yeah, all the snot and the saliva is real.
That's so cool. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
That.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Fuck.